everyone. This is Ellie. As you can see, she has blonde hair, and I want to take this hair and dye it purple with some blue conditioner I have left over that I'm not going to use on my hair, and then a mix of Artic Fox. I could probably mix them together because I do want a more blue purple on my hair the next time I darken it, but I just don't want to mix two different brands together just in case something doesn't work out. So I'm going to be mixing them on my mannequin head to at least use up the product. But first I have to shampoo her, get all the other products that have been building up on her hair off, and then we are going to douse her thoroughly in some Sun-In and see if we can get that to lighten her hair a little bit here. If not, that's okay. I'm just trying to use up this Sun-In that I have. It's basically just hydrogen peroxide and lemon juice, and that is very damaging for the hair, but since she is just a mannequin head hair, that'll be all right. Not putting that on my hair, but I don't want to just throw it away either. So coming up with a use for products I don't want to use anymore with my mannequin head. I'll be back when it's time to apply the lemon juice. I have to thoroughly wash her hair and then let it thoroughly dry. We're just going to let it air dry. That'll be the easiest thing, I think. The top of her head is hot, but it dried really quickly. I might put her down on this step for the next part, but yeah, we've got really dry hair, which is great. And we are on to the next step. This is a saltwater rinse that I'm just gonna pour on her hair here to kind of simulate being at the beach and getting that salty water all in your hair. There we go. It's kind of when you take that dip in the ocean and your hair gets all messed up. I saved some salt so I can apply a little bit more later. But yeah, that's what we want. We want that beachy effect. So there goes the salt water. And then I actually want to kind of roughly section it here. It's not going to be like the best, but just kind of separate off kind of this part. And I don't know why the hair underneath is so much straighter, but all right, here we got some Sun-In, and we're just gonna pour it in our hands and just kind of apply it like that. I find it works better, just kind of like applying it straight versus spraying it on. So that's what we're gonna do here. And we're just kind of let this back section just kind of do its thing. So it's really saturated now, and it may not get too much lighter than this, but hey, it's a fun way to use up the rest of the Sun-In that I have. So I feel it stinging my hands. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little more, and then next step I'm gonna do the other side of this that's not really getting any. We're just gonna let this marinate in the sunlight here and see how much lighter it gets. So I did have to move her down a bit. She's dry again. She's drying out very quickly. I am seeing some lightening. To me, it looks like it's lighter than it was before. Not as light, you know, as maybe I was hoping it would be, but it's just kind of getting just like a very sun lightened effect. Some parts are definitely a little lighter than others, but this is good. Like, it's kind of taking out the orangey brassiness of it. So mixed up a little bit more of the salt solution with the salt I had left, and we're just going to kind of pour that all over the top here. And just kind of really abuse her hair. It is what it is. We want it to work. You know, Sun-In also works well on if the hair is damp. So the salt water will help dampen it, but also give it that wonderful dryness to it that's going to make this work so well. So just kind of We're just putting what's left on the top side here. Oh, there's a piece of grass. And that's the end of my sun-in. And we're just gonna liberally distribute that all through the top of the hair here, just to kind of make sure it is evenly coated. We did the bottom layer first, so we don't have to worry about that too much. Yeah, it's looking really good. Here she is at the front, and maybe I should just let her be at the front a little bit, make sure this top part gets as much sun as it possibly could. So I think what we're gonna do is kind of let her hair be like this. Just really make sure it's kind of all spread out. It'll dry quickly. She's gonna get all the sun that she needs. And that's gonna help, I think. Now this plus the sun bleaching should give us the effect we're looking for. She's just gonna be here and marinate in the sunlight for several hours. Alrighty, now that Ellie is like this, we are just going to leave her be and see what she looks like in several hours. Here's what we're looking like the next day. I didn't get a chance to take some footage of Ellie in the sunlight because it was dark by the time I was able to check up on her. This is what we're looking like. To me, it's definitely lighter. It's not, platinum blonde or anything, but we are definitely getting that sun-kissed look. You can see we've got more light spots than there were before. And this is also partly a result of how her hair looks. It's been really beat up, but there are definitely strands in here that are like getting closer to that really, really light blonde. And then there are strands, I don't know if you can really see, like there are strands that are individually lighter. And then there are some darker ones. So I'm not worried too much about getting it much lighter, but what I am going to do is sit her out in the sun once it's sunny again for another couple of hours, maybe even a couple days, see what else we can do with the sun fading her. And then once she has been lightened to the amount that I think she can be lightened without me actually going and purchasing lightener, which I don't want to do. I just wanted to use up my sun-in that I had. Then we are going to go in with some purple shampoo and see what that does to her hair. Here I'm spreading out her hair for max sun coverage. Just trying to fade it a little bit. If we go in, we can see that some of these strands here are almost white blonde, and some of them are still very golden. So a couple more hours in the sun. Let's see what happens. Here she is after a few days of sitting in the sun. This is direct morning sunlight. She has a few strands sprinkled all throughout her head that have gone white blonde, and then the rest of it is this very golden blonde. And I think this is the lightest we're going to get unless we leave her out in the sun for hours and hours over the course of several months. So this is as light as I think we're going to get before we move on to the next stage in the process. I do also want to note that being left outside, she got rained on just a little bit, which removed the salt from her hair and gave her a smoother appearance once again. Now it's purple shampoo time. We'll see if this tones her any. If not, that's fine. It's also kind of an excuse for me to get rid of my purple shampoo. I've got quite a full bottle of the Olaplex number 4P here, and it is very, very pigmented, a very intense purple. And it says apply to wet hair, so that's the first thing we got to do is get her hair wet here. All right, now that she is quite saturated, it is time for the next step, the purple shampoo. Now the instructions say to let process 1 to 3 minutes, rinse. For more intense toning, leave on hair up to 5 minutes. So we're just going to let this be for however long it takes for me to do the other stuff I'm doing, and then we'll come back and rinse her out. I don't know if you can really tell, but she's gotten a little bit ashier here. Not too much, but a little bit. So it's time to rinse her out and see what that's looking like. All rinsed out, we're gonna take her outside to dry again. Here she is, all dry. She's such a pretty blonde that it's almost a shame to put this purple on her, but the experiment must continue. If you look closely, some of these strands, they stayed white, and then there's a few in here. Some of these strands have actually turned purple just from the purple shampoo, which is kind of interesting. The next step is mixing up the color here. I have this, which I actually did use up some of it when I've just washed my hair, and I just used it on the top of my hair because I didn't want to turn all of my hair blue. I just let the rest of it kind of run down mixed with my other conditioner, and I actually really liked it mixed with conditioner, so I might look into getting their purple one because before it made my hair chalky, but with conditioner it's great. But we're gonna mix that with what I have left of the Violet Dream, which is very pink conditioner color here. So you see it's very like a pinky purple. So we're gonna just pop that in there. I'm trying to get all of it out. Leave none behind. She has a lot of hair, so I have no doubt that this will cover everything. All right, well, there's a little bit left. Maybe I can use that for something else. Now, as you can see, this is like a very pink, so we're gonna try and make it more purple by adding this blue and just mix that in together. Let's see how this, oh wow, that's a really nice purple. Right away, that blue just took. So I'm thinking in the future, I was trying to use this mask up because I didn't know if I liked it or not, but it really colored my hair straight away as a mask after shampooing, and worked really well in wet hair, and it's quicker and easier to do than doing the Artic Fox. So I might just kind of blend this with one of their other colors and see what I get in the future with their purple. So let's go ahead and take this mixture, and first we're gonna just kind of section off her hair because it's just, I don't want to work with too much of it at one go. So her hair's a little tangly, of course, because I have not combed through it at all in this whole process. So I'm just going to kind of clip that out of the way. Okay, and then take my hands, which do have gloves on, and we're going to apply this. Wow, that's a nice color. Onto the bottom section. Just kind of see if we can evenly coat it here. I do have some of the other purple Arctic Fox, and we are gonna try that and see what happens. Because I don't want her hair to be green, which is what will happen if we mix blue with yellow, since she is blonde. No, let's have that in there. We're gonna put mix that together. Ooh, we're getting very dark purple now, which is great. I like this color a lot. Okay, now let's try that and see if that will saturate well. Okay, there we go. She looks like she's been in a horror film or something. Alrighty, so there we go. I'll braid this. And I feel like the top half of her head is taking the color better than the bottom half. But get in there at the roots. Now, is this the most thorough application I could have done? No. I could have done a bit of a better job with it. But, is it fun? Yes. All right. So now we are just gonna let her process with heat, which is what Arctic Fox tells you to do. So just kind of pile it up top of her head here. And then we're going to put a plastic cap on her head. And she's going to go back outside in the sunlight, where that will be heat enough for her to be processing. 8 hours later, it is time for me to rinse this out. Honestly, I totally forgot about it. I had her outside for like 2 hours in under the heat, and I figured she should process when it's not hot to let her cool down and let everything sink in. So this is what we are looking like. And, well, I don't know what it's going to be when we rinse her out here. So let's see. Cold water. Well, her scalp and face are purple. The hair, not so much. I don't know what is in this. It's just toned it like a really deep blonde. Like there are certain strands that are purple, but the overall hair is just like blonde with purple strands, which is really, really interesting. I think we can use some leave-in conditioner on her because the masks, the color itself is conditioning, so it doesn't need extra. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray her down with this Hawaiian Silky. And she kind of has a curly hair texture here, so we are going to go ahead and try to detangle her hair and maybe see if we can bring out some of these curls. I don't know really what's going on with this, but her hair is just so matted. Well, I do know what's going on. I kind of abused her hair throughout this whole process, but it's, okay. Okay, so now she's all combed out. We can see that she's got an interesting texture here. And I would ideally like to let this dry before I do anything else with it. However, I still want her hair to be purple, so I have something else I can try. As I Am, this is what I had mixed up last year. It's purple because I had mixed up the blue and the red together. This is a gel, so we're gonna apply it and see if we can get her hair to do some curling here. And just apply what's left of this on her hair. And this is a gel, so it has a bit of hold to it. And she has thin hair, like, I mean, she's a mannequin, but it's been coming out over, oopsies, over the years as I've been, you know, doing fun stuff with her hair. But at least this will give us a little color payoff. Just fully saturating with whatever I've got left. Gives me another excuse to use up this product. So there's a little bit of blue in it too. All right, so we're gonna brush this through. Oh, that brushes through nicely with the gel in it. Kind of evenly distribute that. And just put whatever is left on her hair because I won't be using it anymore. And then, like I said, since she has a wavy texture here, we're gonna try to bring out some of these curls with brush styling. And pull. And then just kind of make a curl and scrunch it. Okay. And we're gonna kind of encourage a curl here. And we're gonna grab this. Okay, there's like other sections that look a little limp, so we're gonna grab those. Scrunch. I'm just trying to make some curls happen. I'm gonna take bigger sections and kind of scrunch up. We're trying to encourage some clumps to happen. Okay, so now that we have some waviness, we're gonna glaze over that with some gel. So let me just wash my hands real quick. Just the ultra glued got to be, because that's all I have right now for a strong cold gel. And then we're just gonna glaze that over her hair. Just glaze it, and one more time. All right, that's like some wave there. We're gonna let her dry, and what I'm gonna do is scrunch up, let this kind of be in a scrunching position. Scrunch up, let this sit scrunched up. Scrunch up, let it sit scrunched. And scrunch, and let that sit scrunched. And we're just gonna let that dry in the scrunched up position, see what happens. After scrunching out the crunch, this is what we are left with. She has really pretty wavy hair, came out so well. You can see it's soft, it's light, it's airy, and it is shiny. The color, her face is purple. Her hair is like bronze. I think we have created bronze. So we're darker than what we started off with, but a totally different shade. Now as we come in close here, yes, we can see that some of these strands have the As I Am on them, but some of them have been colored purple. So I think some of these strands are plastic and some of them are real hair. And that's why some of them died and some of them didn't. But overall, this was a fun experiment to do. I will be washing the As I Am color out because the smell is so strong. It's irritating my lungs and giving me just some irritation in my throat. We do have to wash this out, which is kind of sad because her hair turned out so nice with the scrunching and everything. But, you know, that's what she is here for. She's a mannequin, and we can just play with her however we want. So that is the end of this transformation video. See you next time.